Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and this time we're going to look at game number 19 in our 20 from 1985 series, and this game was originally a computer game created by a guy named Dan Gorlin for the Apple II computers, and it eventually became an arcade game in 1985, and this is called Choplifter. And it was a very popular game for the computer back in the day. It had multiple ports, including the arcade release by Sega in 1985. And it's a rescue mission game in which you pilot a helicopter and you go into enemy terrain to try to destroy the tops of these buildings that are holding these hostages that you need to rescue. Once the top of the building is destroyed, then the hostages start coming out of the building, and you need to land on the ground and let them board your chopper. Now, don't forget, your chopper can only hold a maximum of 8 hostages. And if you try to collect more after that, then they just start running around and they won't board your chopper. So what you need to do once you have 8 hostages, or, you don't have to get all 8, you can leave a few on the ground. They'll quite possibly get killed. But once you have the hostages that you want boarded on your chopper, you need to go back to where you started the mission and land on the ground there, because that is your fort, and you need to let them get off your chopper to safety once you land at the fort, and you'll get bonus points for each consecutive hostage that got off your chopper. And then you go back and try to destroy the top of another building that they're in and collect more. There are 3 different forts, or 3 different places where these hostages are being held. You can accidentally kill the hostages by shooting them, maybe landing on them, maybe tilting your helicopter at an angle so that your blades hit them. You don't see them gorily dismembered or anything, but you don't want to kill 13. If 13 die, you must start the stage over, and you do not get your helicopter refilled. Note that you have a fuel meter. Now, there will be all sorts of enemies that are trying to shoot you down. If you fly it forward, if you hold the joystick forward, you will fly at an angle, notice, and you can shoot downwards. Whoops, I shot a helicopter, or I shot a hostage. And you hear them scream when they die. And while you're landing on the ground to collect hostages, you can see tanks trying to show up and destroy you while you're on the ground. You can be destroyed when you're on the ground or in the air. This game gets very tough to get used to. And like I was saying, when you fly forward, you have your helicopter tilted at an angle. And that's very advantageous to destroying enemies that are on the ground that are trying to shoot upwards at you. Now, you want to be high up in the air so that they will not likely hit you. And at the same time, you don't want to be too high up in the air, because those helicopters that are very common can try to shoot you down. So you just got to get a feel of when is the right time to fly high and when is the right time to fly low. If you get shot down when you're carrying hostages, they will all bite the dust. And since you don't want to allow 13 hostages to die, you really do not want to crash while you're carrying hostages or get shot down. Plus, there's all those juicy bonus points that you get for the consecutive hostages that you brought to safety. And you need to bring 20 or more to safety to the fort in order to complete a level. Or they call it a sortie. But there are 3 different buildings that have the hostages in them. And shortly after the 3rd building, you can't go left anymore. And you can't go right past your your own fort. So there are definite borders to the gameplay field. I remember seeing this, I think the place I remember seeing it most was at a laundromat by Tiger Fred Meyer, where I used to work a long, long, long time ago. I think the laundromat's still there. I know Tiger Fred Meyer's still there. But there I rescued a total of 20. Or maybe it was a little more, but you get, if you can rescue all of them, all 24, then you will get a special 50,000 point bonus. But it's most likely that at least one is going to die. Now this is the second sortie, and there are battleships that you can destroy part of, and you'll collect the hostages from. The enemies shoot a lot more on the later stages. Even for the first stage, it's kind of hard. It takes a while to get used to. Now, when you get to your fort, or wherever on the stage where you started, don't think that you can comfortably land. Sometimes those planes will be hounding you, ready to shoot you down, and it can really suck when you've got hostages and you thought you were going to land and drop them off. Oops. Now on this stage, I think a couple of the places where you need to get hostages are from submarines, and one of them's on top of a ship, battleship. Now, something I didn't mention is you have a rotate button, and you can hold it down and you'll face the other way, or you can just press it once and you'll face, your chopper will face you, and it'll shoot shots downward that seldom seem to hit anything. You can also kind of slow down, and you'll be able to fly backwards. And you might make your chopper shoot upwards at an angle. It takes quite a while to get a load of the controls, or understand the controls. For the most part, it seems that enemies that try to shoot you when you're on the ground will miss. So that's a good thing. You'll often be able to take your time to collect the hostages running around. But again, don't forget that you can accidentally kill the hostages, or if you're a psychopath, you can intentionally kill the hostages. But yeah, if you allow 13 hostages to die, then you will not only have to start the sortie over, but you will have to, you will not be able to refuel. If you die, you refuel. This stage is too hard for me. It shot me down. You have to go inside this cavern, and there's like fireballs shooting up from a geyser or something. Or maybe it's lava rocks or something. You can just graze a cavern wall, or a cavern stalactite or something, or stalagmite, and crash and burn. It's just, this stage is so hard. It really annoys me. I do laugh at the funny sound effects that hostages make when they board, or when they get killed. The little screams. But yeah, you always got to go back to the beginning of your stage to drop off the hostages that you collect. And if you crash while you're carrying the hostages, they will all be dead, and that will add towards the dead hostage total. And again, if 13 die, you have to start the stage over and you don't get a refuel. Crap. I'm just not good at this stage. This stage is too much of a pain in the ass. But again, there is a rotate button, and you can rotate just part way so that your chopper faces you, the player, and it'll just shoot these weak little shots downwards that will often miss everything. Oops. Yeah, you can, like I said, you could kill hostages by shooting them, landing on them with your chopper, perhaps. Ha! God damn it. Well, that's all the hostages biting the dust that I was carrying. But, we've got one more life here. You can get extra lives at 20,000, 80,000, and 120,000, I think. But, yeah, crap. Every stage has a far left wall and a far right wall, and the far right wall is where, where it doesn't scroll anymore. The far right wall is where your fort is, where you need to drop off the hostages. Oops, I think I thought that was a U, and it turned out to be a W. Whoops, so I'm ruse. And that is the far left wall on that stage. We're going to go ahead and quickly beat this stage so we can see what the fourth stage is like. And the fourth stage takes place on top of skyscrapers over the ocean. And there will be little buildings on some of the skyscrapers that you can shoot. It's hard to get the right angle to shoot at some of the tops of those buildings that you need to break open to get to the hostages. But once you beat these four stages, there's no ceremonial ending or anything. You just start them all over. And there's increased difficulty. I put on invincibility here. They're supposed to be saying thank you, but it's not very clear. Digitized speech was still kind of in its infancy. The screams do crack me up. And like I was saying, see, you just start everything over. There's faster shooting enemies, more enemies. But yeah, when you're flying at this angle, just fire like crazy to take out those ground targets. Take as many as you can out. And yeah, if you get perfect, there's the princess from the game Ninja Princess, or Sega Ninja, or just Ninja. And we'll look at that later on in this series. And yeah, here's me running out of fuel. If you run out of fuel, you lose one chopper. And you'll crash and burn. Fuel out. Crash. And here's me letting 13 hostages bite the dust. And yep, you can shoot him. And I did. Wah! Restart. And you don't get your fuel replenished. But that was game number 19, Choplifter by Sega, and originally by Dan Gorlin for the Apple II computers. This is Crazy Climb Racing. Thanks for watching Choplifter, game number 19 in our 20 from 1985 series. Thank you for watching. I hope you join me soon for game number 18. Bye-bye, folks. Oh, Sheila, let me love you to the